Hello, my friends. Today is another day. We're heading to Acts 21 and 22 for our Bible in the year, day 37. I can't believe it's day 37. That's crazy. And we're going to focus today on lies women believe before we get started. And I want to talk about one lie that a lot of us women believe, and that is that we are worthless. Do you ever feel like you're worthless? Well, you're telling yourself a lie. It's so, and I am guilty of it too. Some testimonies have said, some of these women, they feel inferior, and it's been a lifelong struggle. Many times it has caused me to withdraw from relationships, even though I am a people person and outgoing. So even extroverted people who seem happy and just bubbly, they're not necessarily joyful and peaceful in knowing that they are God's child. So keep that in mind. It says here 42% of women surveyed that they do believe in this lie. So it's a powerful one, and we need to remind ourselves, transform our minds into remembering that we're supposed to trust the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. That means that we focus on him. We won't be worried about feeling worthless, right? We know deep down inside we are worthy because Jesus died on the cross for us. So he loves us. And if God sent his son to die for us, we are worth something. So don't believe that lie. All right. We are going to get started here, Acts 21 and 22. I have done this video, recorded this, I think 3 times now. So I was just unsure I was doing the right one. So hopefully I am. And if you're watching this, that means that I actually read the right one. So let's get started for our Bible in a year, Acts 21 and 22 for day 37. Here we go. And it came to pass that after we were gotten from them and had launched, we came with a straight course unto Coos, and the day following unto Rhodes, and from thence unto Patara, and finding a ship sailing over to Phoenicia, and we went aboard and set forth. Now, when we had discovered Cyprus, we left it on the left hand and sailed it into Syria and landed at Tyre, for there was the ship was to unlade her burden. And finding disciples, we tarried there 7 days, who said to Paul through the Spirit that he should not go up to Jerusalem. And when he had accomplished these days, we departed and went our way, and they all brought us on our way with wives and children till we were out of the city, and we knelt down on the shore and prayed. And when we were taken our leave one of another, we took ship and they returned again. And when we had finished our course from Tyre, we came to Ptolemais and saluted the brethren and abode with them 1 day. And the next day, we that were of Paul's company departed, and we came into Caesarea, and we entered into the house of Philip the evangelist, which was one of 7, and abode with him. And the same man had 4 daughters, virgins, which did prophecy. And as we tarried there many days, there came down from Judea a certain prophet named Agabus. And when he was common to us, he took Paul's girdle and bound his own hands and feet and said, Thus saith the Holy Ghost, so shall the Jews at Jerusalem bind the man that owneth this girdle, and shall deliver him into the hands of the Gentiles. And when we heard these things, both we and they of that place besought him not to go up to Jerusalem. Then Paul answered, What mean ye to weep and to break mine heart? For I am ready not to be bound only, but also to die at Jerusalem for the name of the Lord Jesus. And when he would not be persuaded, we ceased, saying, The will of the Lord be done. And after those days, we took up our carriages and went up to Jerusalem. There went with us also certain of the disciples of Caesarea, and brought with them one Nason of Cyprus, an old disciple with whom we should lodge. And when we were come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. And the day following, Paul went in with us into James, and all the elders were present. And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things God had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord and said unto him, Thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law. And when they informed of thee that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. What is it therefore? The multitude must needs come together, for they will hear that thou art come. Do therefore this, that we say to thee, we have 4 men which have a vow to them take and purify themselves with them, and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning thee are nothing, but thou thyself also walk orderly and keepest the law. As touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such things, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols, and from blood, and from strangle, and from fornication. Then Paul took the men, and the next day purified himself with them, entered into the temple to signify the accomplishment of the day of purification, until that an offering should be offered to every one of them. And when the 7 days was almost ended, the Jews which were of Asia, when they saw them in the temple, stirred up all the people and laid hands on him, crying out, Men of Israel, help! This is the man that teacheth all men everywhere against the people and the law and this place, and further brought Greeks also into the temple, and have polluted this holy place. For they had seen before with him in the city of Trophimus an Ephesian, whom they supposed that Paul had brought into the temple. And all the city was moved, and the people ran together, and they took Paul and drew him out of the temple, and forthwith the doors were shut. And as they went about to kill him, tidings came unto the chief captain of the band that all Jerusalem was in an uproar, who immediately took soldiers and centurions and ran down into them. When they saw the chief captain and the soldiers, they left beating of Paul. Then the chief captain came near and took him and commanded him to be bound with 2 chains, and demanded who he was and what he had done. And some cried one thing, some another among the multitude. And when he could not for certainty for the tumult, he commanded him to be carried into the castle. And when he had come upon the stairs, so it was that he was borne of the soldiers for the violence of the people. For the multitude of the people following after, crying, Away with him. And as Paul was led into the castle, as he said unto the chief captain, May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek? Art not thou that Egyptian, which before these days made an uproar, and led us out the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city of Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city, and I beseech ye, suffer me to speak unto the people. And when he had given him license, Paul stood on the stairs and beckoned with the hand unto the people. And when there was made a great silence, he spake unto them in the Hebrew tongue, saying, chapter 22, Men, brethren, and fathers, hear ye my defense, which I make now unto you. And when they heard, he spake in the Hebrew tongue to them. They kept the more silence, as he said, I am verily a man which am a Jew born in Tarsus, a city of Cilicia, yet brought up in the city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the laws of the fathers, and was zealous toward God, as ye all are this day. And I persecuted this way unto death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women, as also the high priest does bear me witness in all the estate of the elders, from whom also received letters unto the brethren, and went to Damascus to bring them which were there bound into Jerusalem, for to be punished. And it came to pass that as I made my journey and was come nigh unto Damascus about noon, suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me, and I fell into the ground, and I heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And I answered, Who art thou, Lord? And he said unto me, I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom thou persecutest. And they that were with me saw indeed a light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. And I said, What shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said to me, Arise and go into Damascus, and there it shall be told thee of all the things which are appointed for thee to do. And when I could not see for the glory of that light, being led by the hand, and that were with me, I came unto Damascus. And for Ananias, a devout man according to the law, having a good report of all the laws which dwelt there, came unto me and stood and said unto me, Brother Saul, receive thy sight. And in the same hour I looked upon him, and he said, The Lord of our fathers, or the God of our fathers, had chosen thee, that thou shouldest know his will, and see that just one, and shouldest hear the voice of his mouth. For thou shalt be a witness unto all men of what thou hast seen and heard. And now, why tarriest thou? Arise and be baptized, and wash away thy sins. Call on to the name of the Lord. And it came to pass that when I was come again to Jerusalem, even while I prayed in the temple, I was in a trance, and saw him saying unto me, Make haste and get thee quickly out of Jerusalem, for they will not receive thy testimony concerning me. And I said, Lord, thou know that I am in prison and beat in every synagogue them that believeth in thee. And when the blood of thy martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by and consenting unto his death, and kept the raiment of them that slew him. And he said unto me, Depart, for I will send thee far hence unto the Gentiles. And they gave him audience unto this word, and then lifted up their voices and said, Away with such a fellow from the earth, for it is not fit that he should live. And as they cried out and cast off their clothes and threw dust into the air, the chief captain commanded him to be brought into the castle, and bade that he should be examined by scourging, that he might know wherefore they cried so against him. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, It is lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned. When the centurions heard that, he went and told the chief captain, and saying, Take heed what thou doest, this man is a Roman. And then the chief captain came and said, Tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, Yea. And the chief captain answered, With a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, But I was freeborn. Then straightway they departed from him which should have examined him. And the chief captain also was afraid, after he knew that he was a Roman, and because he had bound him. On the morrow, because he would have known the certainty wherefore he was accused of the Jews, he loosened him from his bands, and commanded the chief priests and all their council to appear, and brought Paul down and set him before them. All right, we did it. Are you ready for the next one? Okay, well, we are going to be on day 38 tomorrow, and that is Acts 23 and 24 for day 38. All right, so I'll see you then. Thank you so much.